So the next discussion, like I said, is the industry panel discussion. Can we have the backdrop, please, changed? Thank you so much. So please put your hands together when I welcome the panelists on the stage. To begin with, Mr. Siddhesh Khavnekar, Vice President, Ratnakar Bank Ltd. Big round of applause, please. Mr. Vitthal Naik, CTO, Profectus Capital Pvt. Ltd. Come on, guys. Mr. Ananth Subramanian, Executive Vice President, Kotak Mutual Fund. And Mr. Samarth Bhatnagar, Partner Account Manager, Dell Technologies. A big round of applause for them, guys. Thank you so much, sir. I request you to please settle down. Thank you. And to moderate the discussion, people who need no introduction at all, can we have up on stage Mr. Israel Thomas and our very own CTO, Mr. Josh Vedam. One more time, guys, please. And by the way, this insightful panel discussion is aimed towards discussing the AI strategy at their organizations and how Lauren can participate and be an integral part of the AI journey with them. All right, then over to you, moderators. Thank you.
All right, this is better? Everyone can hear me? Awesome. Thank you. Thank you to the four of you for joining us in our annual review. We welcome all of you on behalf of everybody at Lauren, and hopefully we'll have a great discussion this evening. So since we had an internal review yesterday, and today we have invited our partners and clients to come and share their expertise in this area as well. So before we start off with the questions, now since the first presentation yesterday until now, the one word was repeatedly spoken about and discussed, and questions have gone around to people. People have different perspective and answers. Is obviously it's on AI, right? So everybody's talking about it now, and I know some of you are involved. We are involved with some of the work that's happening in your organizations as well. So that is the topic that we're going to talk about: AI as a strategy for your organizations as well as ours, right? That's most of the questions are going to be centered around that, and how it's not a buzzword anymore, it's real, it's happening, and that is what we'd like to discuss. And we have been in multiple situations where we have discussions about AI as well, right? So that's going to be the topic. So I hope all of you know me. My name is Josh. I work on the services side in Lauren, and me and Israel, who's our chief business officer, will be leading this panel. Yeah. So we'll get started. So I'll start with you, Vitthal sir, if you're okay. Since I know you have AI in mind from a strategy perspective in your organization, what I wanted to start off with asking you is, how does the AI strategy fit into your overall organization goals? How do you see that going? What is your strategy to adopt AI in Profectus?
Sure. Thank you, Josh. My name is Vitthal. I manage technology for Profectus Capital. We are an NBFC, SME-focused NBFC, in operation for last 7 years. And being a new age NBFC, obviously our operations are digitally enabled, right? We are on the cloud. We set up our tech stack on cloud from day one, right? And Lauren is certainly helping us managing cloud and all that, right? From a strategy perspective, right? Like you said, AI is no longer a buzzword, and it should not be, right? And for that matter, right? None of the technology should be a buzzword, right? What it kind of comes to is what problem it solves, right? So from a user of technology like us, right, how do we define a problem that becomes critical, that becomes very important. Now what technology you use to solve that problem, it's actually the problem or your problem. In the sense, system integrator's problem or a technology provider's problem, right? So for me personally, right, I don't look at technology as a strategy from a fancy technology perspective or a buzzword perspective, right? Uh, Critical is how you kind of define the problem. And technology would come and go, right? And newer and newer innovations would happen. AI is certainly not a new technology as such, right? It's no longer, I mean, it's not a buzzword. Artificial intelligence or analytics is there. Companies are using it for solving the problem. So coming back to your question, right? What we look at is how do we solve a particular business problem. Now, whether to use analytics for that, whether to use AI for that, generative AI for that, or agentic AI for that, that's something we could decide, right? But what is that business problem you want to solve? That is actually a crucial one, right? And what AI or generative AI has made some of the things simple, right? From a business problem perspective, addressing a business problem perspective, right? So we don't really have a strategy as such, right? Our strategy is simple. If there is a business problem, how do we solve it using technology? And certainly as the technology innovation is happening, it's becoming more and more easier to solve that problem.
All right. Thank you, Vitthal, sir. Israel, you want to take the next question?
Is that better? Sorry, guys. Yeah, so I'd love all of you to, probably take a stab at it in different roles that you play, in different functions, at all your organizations. We've had conversations about how, you are implementing AI. Especially you, Ananth sir, you've started automation pretty early on, and we've been fortunate to journey with you on that journey. Now, like Vitthal sir rightly mentioned, the business problem, solving that business problem, addressing that need is at the forefront. That is a primary goal. Technology is a facilitator to address that problem. So while addressing that, what are some metrics that you are using to measure the success of AI adoption, success of ROI, that really helps us as partners to develop our approach that directly aligns, to those KPIs to ensure you are, leveraging max ROI for, the investments that you're making. So in the different functions that you all play with your business, what are the metrics that, you are looking to build into your strategy for the year?
So I'd like to say something here. So to begin with, I think in case of any new technology, looking at ROI is not going to make sense. I mean, these are all evolving technologies, evolving platforms. You will definitely see benefits, but a lot of these are going to be subjective. Like take the case of RPA itself, when we were trying to evaluate and even tell people, hey, come to us and let me know what your business problems are, what your operations are, which I can automate. There was so much of resistance to it. I think a similar fear even exists even today, but people have to understand what AI does. And that is going to be a continuing process. I mean, we are not saying that there will not be an ROI, but the benefits will be a lot more in terms of trying to see how much your customer journey improves, how much errors minimize. Those are the metrics that we're trying to put in. I don't know how many of you would have seen the tweet of Nilesh Shah. He had posted about 2 days back where our customer complaints was at a minuscule level if you compare it to what the industry has been doing. So I think some of it is thanks to the operational improvements that have happened at the back end, whether it's, as Mr. Vitthal said, it's not about using just AI. It's about using the right platform, the right tool to kind of come out with solutions which will help you in that journey. So as a metric, we always try to see what we can do best to help improve the trust that the customer has on us. Okay, how much faster I can resolve his complaints. Customer first, always. I mean, we are in the business of investment. There is no way that I can come back and tell him that, you come back to me after 2 days, 3 days. My engineer will come and service you. There's no, it's just money that is locked, and all of us are very, very emotional when it comes to money, right? So how do you bring those? So those are some of the things that we've been trying to kind of look at. Customer, how much, whether all these technology, investment, now AI in portfolio management is something we are aggressively looking at I mean, you have all the purposefulity.ai and the Thorough and so many other platforms, but can we build something for our own fund managers to kind of use, consume? Because all these platforms, while they are all there, can I put my own data there and start enriching that information to make a use case for my own self? Why? I mean, all these platforms source a lot of data from across platforms, but it still doesn't have my own corporate data. So how do I build on those? So the metrics are more in terms of whether it will help me give a better NAV to the client, to the customer end user. Yes, these are all the parameters that we're trying to look at. It's not, hey, I put in 50 lakh, am I saving a crore or something? So very, very subjective, very, very different kind of telemetries in trying to look at ROI.
Hi. I work with RBL and I lead the complete cloud practice for the RBL Bank across all the cloud platforms. I predominantly work with a lot of the other teams which are working on the AI platform, and it basically boils down to the use case what we are looking at. So if you don't know the use case and if you don't have a proper view on what use case we are looking at, it is not going to help you. So it's very important you figure out what use case and at what cost we are going to build it. So if use case is right, then you also need to look at the cost associated with it. And with cost, being a regulated entity, we also have to look at the compliance and security part of it. So that's the topmost priority within the regulated entity we have to look at. So.
Thank you.
So from metrics perspective, right, again, I would stress the same point, what been spoken here, right, is how exactly is helping me to kind of reduce, let's say, transaction time, right, or improve a customer journey, or operational efficiency, right? Those are the metrics. And those are the standard metrics for any technology implementation, not in particular AI as such, right? If I talk about our example, right, so what we are looking at AI is from how do we kind of improve transaction experience, one, or reduce the turnaround time on a customer onboarding itself, right? We are in SME lending, in a secured SME lending, where we collect a lot of data about customer, a lot of data about customers' collateral, right? And how do we kind of process this data quickly to give that decision, right? Loan sanction or reject decisions is very important, right? So how do we then kind of use some of these technologies, right, to do that? That's essentially the problem. So now talking about AI in specific, right? Our credit managers, right? They have to read through a lot of documentation, right, about our product policies, about the documents they have collected from customers. How exactly are there any red flags in those documents? All that, right? So the use case what we are trying, and then you guys are helping us, right, is building some kind of a knowledge system for credit managers where they could ask questions in more user-friendly manner, and that the AI tool would go and then in that knowledge base, right, and which is actually a lot of financial data, which is very difficult to understand sometime, right, make sense out of that data, right, and get some insights. And in the process, basically, it helps them to reduce the decision time on the loan, right? So that is one use case certainly we're looking at, right? The other use case could be on the fraud prevention side, right? The data what I talked about the customers, right? The banking history, GST history, bureau records, right? Then the collaterals document, right? Go and figure out if there is any pattern which looks fraudulent, right? So that is another use case for us, right? And certainly, I think AI would be the right technology, or AI is the right technology for that. Yeah.
Maybe, Samarth, you can give your perspective on this.
Definitely, thanks. Basically, we are looking at the scenario where currently we are at the journey of AI, and most of the industries are now at different places in this journey. Some of them are initially analyzing where they are in the adoption phase. Some of them are already into some of the other use cases where initial adoption has already been seen. And the best example would be the chatbots, right, where we have seen a lot of automation around these chatbots, and now most of the customer problems while they are trying to classify and then they are trying to give the resolutions basis the experience that they have, the data which they have, right? And the example that I would like to quote here, that what Dell is doing it in itself, we have been an online organization from a very long time, right? Almost 30 years now, right? Most of the things are done online. We are using this data to make our customer experience better, right? When customer logs in and puts their problem, whether they are buying anything, whether they are looking for a service or they are looking for any new technology that they want to implement in the phases of their industries. So they would want a resolution, and the bots are able to help them with the recent and as many as classifications which are possible in an automation basis. And I'm sure you might have heard a lot about the buzz about the Dell AI factory, where we are integrating a lot of industry-specific pioneers, where they are bringing on their experience onboarding with our AI capabilities, and when we are bringing solution for industries.
Thank you very much. So since all of you shared your experiences in your organizations about adoption of AI and the AI strategy, we each want to know each of your perspective. We'll start with Siddhesh. But Siddhesh, based on what you've spoken with your colleagues who are doing this or using some use cases, identifying the use cases and using AI, what do you think are the kind of challenges they are facing? And if you know, what are the kind of adoption, what are the kind of policies they're adopting to overcome those challenges, in your opinion?
Okay, so the first challenge which I work with multiple teams is the data. So for AI to work sufficiently, you need data, and you need data in a right manner. Now, your organization or your firm may not have the data in a right way, the way AI wants. So the solution which we are implementing is building the right data in a right sense. So we are adapting some data policies to, so the data is in the right manner with the way we want it. The second is the subject matter expertise. I mean, we have faced this challenge day in and out, where the people who are actually building the AI technologies or working on the AI models do not have the subject matter expertise. I mean, I work with Pranay on finding resources for the cloud. And if I could read mine, he would say, "Aapke chance se leke aao." So that's the scenario we have been facing. So I think these are the two major challenges which we have been observing on the adoption of AI.
Thank you, Siddhesh. And Vitthal sir, moving on to you, I know you have shared feedback with us in terms of some of the challenges that in the POCs that we did, some work did with you guys. What do you think are as an organization who's trying to adopt AI or an AI strategy, or even without a strategy in terms of finding the right technology to solve the problem, what are the challenges you think Profectus faced in adopting this, either from the organizational perspective or even from an SI perspective?
So I think the challenges what Siddhesh mentioned, right? Those are the implementation challenges, right? How do we get data together, right? Various data which you use in the day-to-day this one, right? Day-to-day transactions. And the other thing is obviously expertise, right? And expertise probably is not a bigger challenge, I would say now, because if you know what problem to solve, then you can always rely on the partners like you, right? So obviously you need to know what AI is and what problem is going to solve. Till what extent it can solve that problem, you need to have that knowledge, right? So that is from an implementation perspective, right? Getting data together is also no longer a challenge, right? Especially people who are on the technology which are on the cloud, right? You could build your data lakes, right? Data warehouses on cloud and use that data. So it's it has become easier to build data lake on cloud compared to what it used to be like setting up the data lake on the data center and also from a cost perspective, implementation perspective, right? From an organization perspective, right, how much you want to rely on AI, that's actually the decisions, right? Obviously, organization to organization, right? Regulators is kind of vary where if AI is used for decisioning, right? If you are kind of sanctioning or rejecting a loan completely on the decision taken by machine, they probably are not okay with that, right? because the kind of biases AI would have, nobody knows, right? The kind of training it has gone through, nobody knows on that, right? So as long as you are using, assisted model, then it's kind of okay, right? So to me, actually, and from our organization perspective, right, we use the AI as a tool which assists our employees, right, and not to take a decision on yes or no, right? So that's those are the things I would like. Yeah.
Anand sir, your thoughts?
No, I think Siddhesh and Vitthal have already talked about a lot of things. But yeah, data obviously for us being from a mutual fund industry, we are completely dependent on CAMS, who's our R&D, right, for our data that we want. And obviously there are challenges when we want to dig deeper and get a lot more granular information that always remains in the hands of the RTA, because he may not obviously share his entire IP of how the exact data is. Having said that, skill sets are obviously a challenge. I mean, to get the right resource, the right partner, because everybody does AI today. Everybody does cybersecurity, everybody does AI. There's no partner who doesn't do anything. So, I mean, but having said that, to get that person rightly done and the entire prompt engineering piece, how do you actually, give the knowledge to the AI to learn and then give you the right answers, because garbage in is garbage out. You're going to be asking some odd questions, it's going to go around in circles. So it's very necessary that the system understands how it is engineered. So it takes time. Time is another part. When we did our AI enablement for customer response, even today, in fact, the guardrails there around it says that it doesn't send an, like as you said, we don't let the email respond directly back. There is somebody who just looks at the response and then clicks the submit button. So because it's a customer service and we don't want to get on the wrong side of the regulators and all that, because we don't know what might happen if some odd reply goes. So these are some of the nuances. Yes, these will improve. I mean, these are all learning cycles. Everybody is doing something to learn and trying to do and see how we can be efficient. So these challenges are all part of the learning cycle, and I'm sure we'll all overcome it as we go forward. Costs, again, as I told you, I mean, the ROI is not something that we're looking at right now. It's about the efficiencies, the responses. But you need to keep on doing things. Even if you want to do fraud, I mean, in the areas of KYC or fraud, there's a lot of scope. So what is the data that is there? These are all the areas that we're trying to look at and finding challenges in trying to get the right amount of inputs to make these things work more efficiently.
Thank you. What do you think about this?
So I echo with what Ananth sir said, that it's about investment, right? And AI is going to stay here. And the way it has been being there around, we have seen initial in 90s when there was a time when it was talked about, and then we have 20s where we are, these days we are talking about the implementation, and now we have been using it as well, right? In the previous forums, we have seen that the discussion was around how we are adopting it, right? The Ghibli thing that has happened, and the kind of adoption has come in terms of personal usage as well. So I think that's the right thing. And moreover, from the FSI industry, what I have seen that there has been a lot of regulations, what we have seen around the technology part, right? We have seen a lot of regulations around keeping the security of the data that we have from customers, keeping the cyber security part where most crucial data is being kept in the repositories, how to use that, who is going to use that, that is very important. So I'm sure that is going in the right direction, and yes, investment is the right thing that we are doing.
Thank you for all of you.
One more aspect I'd like to add is, I think while we are all working on this, there is a very important feature of sustainability at the back, which is something that people are not really, I mean, while everybody is aware, some of us are doing something about it, but yeah, everybody is doing a lot of things to generate AI responses, but what about the energy that is being dissipated at the back end? So that's a larger...
Absolutely, yeah. So one other thing that comes to mind while adopting this technology, since a couple of you are from the banking domain, you're from NBFC, you're from the solutioning side, what are your perspectives about the common questions raised when we have customer conversations about some guardrails that these models have on the back end, right? And security of data. Some people have data residential issues, right? Some of them have, hey, will my knowledge base be expanded to the training of the overall model and things like that. I think we have had those conversations also, if you remember, right? I would like to understand from you guys, I know the technology is progressing every day. You see every other day there's a new model coming up, a new provider coming up, a new tool coming up. Frameworks are being built every day. So what is your perspective in this evolving space, right, on everyday basis? Even if you, not about your organization perspective, even from a system integrator perspective like us, how do you think we should adapt ourselves, or your organization will adapt itself in some of these areas? Security, ethical guardrails, sustainability, like Ananth pointed out, some of these areas. We'd love to hear what you guys think about this. Samarth, we'll start with you. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing that we have to consider is that, see, these are the powerhouses, right? When we talk about the back-end processing which is going on, these are consuming a lot of power. So obviously, like Ananth said, that there is a lot of sustainability which has to be considered. So a lot of power is to be considered while we are doing this. So while we are increasing it, how do we use it more efficiently? So that is number one. And I'm sure number two is, if I have to make a point of concern that I would be concerned about, is the data security, right, which is there. So who's going to use that data? Why he's going to use that data? And is he going to make a decision on my behalf? And then who's going to question that? So these would be, I think, major things that I would be concerned about.
All right, that's great. Ananth sir, what about you? From your banking perspective, what do you think should be the...
For us, it's all about customer data, getting some... Just imagine if I tell him, if it's an auto response, he asks for some NAV and the number that is given to him is completely off what is officially there. I mean, so we can't even comprehend, what will happen in such cases. So, very, very essential that there is a good amount of training that happens. So any partner that's what the skill sets. I mean, people who understand the domain to begin with, right? Very, very essential that I have a partner so our experiences have been that whenever we talk to people or any partner who comes to us, we generally see that he will talk about banks, insurance, but there will be very few who would have worked with a mutual fund domain, And mutual fund is very different from a banking or an insurance or even a securities business. Absolutely different. I mean, there is an RTA for us at the back end who does a lot of customer data processing for us. Whereas in case of banks, I mean, in our case, it's more of distributor-driven activity. So the game is completely different. How do you manage a few things without really antagonizing the distributor at the other end, at the same time giving the best possible service to the customer directly if possible. So these are all the areas which we expect the partners to kind of realize whenever you build the ecosystem for us around this. Training, of course, is a continuous thing. You people need to have a mindset of efficiently training the engine on a regular basis. It's not like, okay, just you put in the engine on and it's kind of running. Then cost, how do you ensure that the engineering is accurately done to bring those, as I mentioned earlier also, the prompt engineering. People who deliver this platform need to be really aware about what are the right questions to be asked to the AI engine. If you ask some vague questions, it is going to give back some vague replies. We are going to be ending up paying money because AI has generated the response, it's created those tokens, you're going to be ending up paying for it. So,
correct. Yeah. Vitthal sir, you have some experience of how the responses come out. So
yeah. I think Ananth kind of elaborated quite eloquently on this, right? And all the challenges, what you mentioned, right? Those challenges are there. So the partner like you, right? How exactly they educate their clients, right? How to segregate the data, which part of data lies in your domain, which part of the data is on the public domain, right? How exactly the models use your data versus how the model uses the public data, right? What sort of interactions happens between these two databases? I think that educating client on that, it's very important, right? And what kind of security you put around that, right? Cost, obviously, certainly cost is, and AI, especially on the generative AI side, right? what I seen is that the way they kind of measure number of tokens, right, on the query side or on the database side, how exactly that translate into cost. A lot of people are not aware about that, right? So how do you kind of educate clients on that, right? That's important. So those are the things, right? And crafting the solution, right, around all these things is obviously important, right? Many times I think we as a user of technology are not aware of some of these things, right? Or may not be educated to that extent where for you it could be bread and butter, right? So I think those are the things, yeah.
Right. Thank you. Thank you. And Siddhesh, your perspective on this?
Yeah, so I think Ananth sir specifically mentioned how it works for the banking sector, but from the compliance point of view and from the banking point of view, I think security is predominantly the key factor which we have to look at, and also the cost. Again, if you don't have a vision of what you guys are doing, then cost is going to go haywire. So I think cost and vision, and then how you do it is very important.
Right, right. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Thank you for all of your responses. Israel, you want to?
Yeah. So we've got leaders from all different functions present over here. A lot of salespeople, a lot of our delivery technical, right from our architecture team, developers. We've got people from the operations team, finance team, and for us, fundamentally, we love to hear from our customers, and we are very keen to hear from you and build and pivot based on what we hear. So it's a start of the new year financially for us, and we are building in, all of them are building in their plans and strategy for the year. So we'd love to hear from you, some advice from you on how we could improve, what we could do better, and in turn to serve you. Along with all of our partners here, we have Dell here, there is Pure, HP, many Rubrics, many cybersecurity partners, solution partners, couple of cloud platforms here. So how do we as an organization and improve and build capabilities as well, where in turn we are able to help you succeed, especially where everything is changing so dynamically, right? The market ecosystems are changing, geopolitical situations are changing, technology landscapes changing. How can we help you? How can we do better?
So I think first is to understand and adopt. I think the biggest thing that minds everybody and everybody is fear about, not be probably talked about, is that am I going to lose my job because of AI? Is that the thing that I think initially I also was of the opinion, but trust me, what I have been experiencing, that AI is an enablement, right? It is going to help. Yes, there will be definitely some manual or the job which are taking more time in terms of human intervention are taking time, would be now optimized by some application engines which will be giving you your time back, and that time can be invested in terms of new opportunities, in terms of jobs and scopes, right? New analytical jobs will be there. There will be more people required to analyze and audit at some point of time that data that the AI engine is giving you. So I'm sure that is an opportunity, and it should be looked upon as opportunity also.
Yeah, so at Kotak, see, it's like when anyone invests with us, we expect them to stay invested, right? So when we onboard partners like Lauren, we expect a long relation to be there. And during that journey, we expect them to help us, bring those efficiencies. Finally, when you come to us, we believe that you are the experts, not us. We can only tell you our business objectives is, okay, we want to do this, we want to do this, but how to do is something that you guys need to tell us, or what is a better way of doing it. So whenever I have these engagements with any partner, I said, hey boss, you need to be coming to me with some value addition. I mean, if there is a new tech stack, is there a better way of doing something? You please tell us what is there. Yes, we may be attending programs and we may be looking at things that is other ways to do that. But when you come, and because you are there on the ground, you have been working with us, you also know what is my business process, right? You have been working with us for a long time, so you know what my business processes are. So tell us how much better we can do whatever that we're doing. And whether there are newer skill sets required, yeah, please, I mean, you tell us, hey, this is not going to work out, and train. I mean, keep on training people. I mean, in today's world, I mean, even I myself am undergoing a lot of courses myself to keep track of what's happening out there. But very, very essential, especially for the youngsters out there, that, and there's no shortcut to success, obviously. There's absolutely no shortcut to success. You need to work on your skills. You need to hone them better so that you can know how to do it better. Without honing them, working on it, you cannot simply jump those queue and kind of go ahead. That's my advice in general. And thanks to Lauren, we have been doing a lot of great things at our own organization. And thanks so much for that.
Thank you.
So like I said earlier, right, I think the business case makes, it's utmost important, right? From a client perspective as well as your perspective as well, right? So what problem you are solving, understanding of that is really, really important, right? So technology services is not just that how many people are going to work on the project and how long and then what's going to be the revenue, right? I think those days are probably gone, right? So what problem you are solving, that's important. For that, you need to understand the domain, right? If it is NBFC, you need to understand NBFC. If it is AMC, you need to understand how the fund management works, all that, right? So that is the thing. And the projects, not all projects starts with kind of big budgets or big bangs, right? They start with a lot of proof of concepts. You kind of prove something, and then people like it, business people like it, and then that project then becomes like a big this one, right? So proof of concept, how in a more agile mode, right? How you deliver that and show that this is how it works, right? That is one of the, I think, the very important things for companies like us, at least, right? Which are mid-sized companies, right? And the second thing is how you architect the solution, right? Architecting solutions, obviously there are a lot of design thinking goes into it. And even if you do a proof of concept, right, the design pattern, design thinking is a lot important, right? So, and earlier you were talking about, right, the models are changing. I mean, if you're talking about AI, right, there are a lot of different models. One model gives a different result, other model could be more effective or something, right? Then there's a data security aspect of it, right? So when you think all these things, right, when you are building that solution, so if you have to switch the model, change the model, the solution has to be agile from that perspective, right? So those are the things, right? How you craft the solution is important and the business case is important, yeah.
All right. Thank you. Siddhesh?
I think every organization is at a different level when it comes to adoption. Now, every organization may have a different view on doing certain things, but that's where I think a partner like Lauren comes into the picture and gives us a bird's eye view of how this could be, of how you should be doing this. And as Ananth sir mentioned and Vitthal sir also mentioned, that everything, as in you have to progress accordingly.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. So, thank you all for your advice and your good wishes throughout the last year and this new year as well as we begin this new year. We appreciate you taking time to come and spend some time with us and answering our questions. Now I'm not a sales guy, but now that we have all of you on the stage, we have developed some generic solutions on the AI side as well. We'd love to show that to you guys, see what you think of it. What we have tried to do is try to take some use cases that applies to AI and try to use it against different models that are available in the different platforms. And so just to give you some comparison and a feel of what is the comparison metrics that you can use to see which model is better, which platform to use and things like that. So there is a lot of innovation and R&D going on from our side, thanks to our leaders. So we'll definitely try to work hard and in the coming year as well to be as productive and useful to all of our clients, including all of you going forward. So thank you for your time. We appreciate it. Please give all of the folks here a big hand for taking their time.